here heading to my interview, and today I'm basically in Chinatown. Yay! So I am heading there for my 9:30, and wish me luck. I hope everything goes well. It's for an ESL teaching position. I'm in my old stomping grounds, so really happy. Oh, and for those of you who don't know what stomping ground means, that just means I'm in a familiar place. I used to work here many years ago and enjoyed every bit of it, so I'm very happy to be here. So wish me luck. On Street. I'll turn around and show you the background where I'm at. And basically I am here, just finished my interview. It's a little chilly outside, which is good. You know, it's funny, I went to this interview feeling a little nervous. Usually I don't feel nervous on interviews, but for some reason today I did. And maybe it's because I'm going back to a place that has helped me start my career. Well, I guess helped me to become a better teacher, so to speak, giving me that professional experience. So it was a little nerve-wracking in the sense, I met some new people, and everyone, the people that were there that I do know, I was very appreciative. I was very happy to see them. So forgive me if I don't seem overly, yay! I guess I just feel a little overwhelmed because there was a lot of talking involved. I did a demo lesson, and I'll show you a picture up here now. And it's always a little nerve-wracking as a teacher. I think that sometimes, people think, oh, sorry about that. I think sometimes as teachers or people who know teachers, they have this assumption that, you have experience, so this is like a piece of cake, you shouldn't feel nervous. But in fact, you actually do. You feel, because it's always a new experience. You never know how the demo lesson is going to go, especially to a supervisor. You don't know if they like your style, if they like what you're bringing to the table. So yeah, I just wanted to come on here just to say to any teacher out there who's in my position now, where you're looking for work or you're looking to get back in the classroom, it can be a bit of a challenge. It's not easy. It's not easy because you're basically going back to familiar territory, but at the same time, you just never know how an employer is going to assess you or how they like what you're doing. So yeah, it was good. I have no complaints. I do feel a little overwhelmed, so I'm gonna go grab some coffee because I think I can use a cup of coffee right about now. And as you can see, Starbucks is behind me. I'm debating if I should go for Starbucks or to a local diner. Anyway, so I just want to come on here just to kind of give you guys an update. The classes, for what I'm told, will start in March. So again, it really depends at this point how things are going to turn out. So wish me luck. And sorry for the noise. The bridge is actually behind me, the Williamsburg Bridge. So that's why you see a lot of traffic. So anyway, you guys, I'm going to head on. And thanks for all your support as always. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you soon. interview today, and I changed my clothes so I can be more comfortable. Just wanted to talk to you today a little bit about my experience with the job interview, as well as just share my thoughts on being an ESL teacher, the interview process, and just the emotional part of it. Because one thing a lot of people may not realize is that when you go on a job interview, yes, it's a professional experience, but it's also a personal one, because you are investing your time and putting your thoughts, and you're prepping yourself and preparing yourself for the interview. And it definitely affects your emotions as well, because you don't know whether or not the employer likes what you have to say, or whether or not they are considering you for the position. So there's a lot of emotions involved in that process. So my interview today was for an ESL teaching position. What made this interview unique was that I actually was being interviewed at a previous employer that I used to work for, and even though it was many years ago, but it's definitely always feels a little different when you go back to an old place. It was a little nerve-wracking. Normally I don't feel nervous on interviews, but for some reason this one I did, and I'm a little surprised, because one would think, well, if you're going back to a former employer, you shouldn't be as nervous because you're familiar, whereas to a brand new place, you know. The other thing was going back and seeing the place I used to work at. It was a little nostalgic, you know. Where I used to work at, it was more than just a job to me. It was very personal. I really enjoyed working there. Let's just say that I have a great respect for them, and I thank the people who helped me during that process. Usually for ESL interviews, what usually happens is that you have a coordinator or a manager or a supervisor who will interview you as the teacher, and usually they would like for you to do what's called a demo lesson. Now, a demo lesson is just a very brief lesson that is very focused on specific topics. So for example, sometimes the employer will tell you what he or she wants you to teach in that lesson. So in my case, I was told to do a 15-minute lesson on a grammar point for a lower level ESL class. Now, there are some ESL employers out there that will not tell you. They'll say it's up to you, and that to me is a little more relaxing, because you get to decide what you want to talk about. But in this case, I was told to do a grammar point. I chose to do present tense because present tense is usually the first grammar point that new students, or at least lower level students, learn. And well, the coordinator, I should say, was there, and basically I had to pretend that she was a student, and had to pretend there was other students in the room, and had to conduct this lesson. So I would like to think that I did a good job. I don't know if there's any teachers out there who feel this way, but sometimes you feel confident and sometimes you don't. It's very intimidating when you're doing this demo lesson with just one person in the room. But at the same time, it's also a little intimidating, because you don't really know how the person is really taking your teaching style. As the coordinator or the supervisor, their role is to pretend to be a student, but at the same time take notes and pay attention to your teaching style, how you're presenting the lesson, etc. But the thing that I want to mention today in general, and this is also based on my experience, is when you are an ESL teacher, especially if you're an experienced one. I'm going to talk to my experienced teachers out there. It can be a little awkward when you feel like when you're going back to the drawing board, meaning, you know, now you're trying to get back into your career, you have to prove yourself all over again. It's a little challenging, because although you know what you know, your credentials speak for themselves, but the employer doesn't know that, and you just never know if that person is going to accept what you have to offer. I am a very different type of teacher, in the sense that my teaching style, I like to say, it's a little unique. I don't follow a lot of the other styles that teachers do. And what I mean by this is, I am formal but not overly formal. My teaching style may be a little more airy to some, might be a little more bubbly to some, where you can only hope that besides what you're talking about and your experience, and you can prove that you have the credentials, you can really only hope that the personality matches. I've been in these situations for so long, it does become overwhelming. It becomes tiring sometimes, because I know I don't fit a standard. I know that I'm very different from a lot of other ESL teachers. And I think that's one of the qualities I would like to believe is why my students like me so much. But you just never know when it comes to the employer-employee situation. One thing I will leave this video on, especially for teachers out there, and I guess this is really for all teachers, but even if you're not a teacher, I'm sure you can relate to this as well. This experience has not been easy. I have to be honest. I can't lie to you and say it's been great and perky, because it has not. For me, teaching ESL is my passion. It's my love. It's what gives me purpose in this life. I'll be honest. It's just that serious. And I may not be the most brilliant person in everything. I may not know everything. I mean, there are times where I've been asked questions about how to implement certain, concepts in ESL, and maybe the answer I give may not be to a person's liking. A lot of my experience has been more on a wing it type of experience, meaning I didn't come in with formalized training. I was just kind of thrown in it, and I learned like through trial and error. So sometimes when I meet people who I can tell who have a formalized background in this ESL business, it can be a little intimidating. And if you're in that situation as a new teacher or an experienced teacher, yeah, this is a little different. It's overwhelming. I have been on so many ESL teaching interviews. I can't count no more. I can't. I've applied for other jobs outside of ESL, of course, but I have been to all the boroughs of New York City. I have met all types of people. I have traveled all over the place, so I feel like the human subway map, seriously. One of the nice things that did happen is I met a very lovely woman, and hopefully if she ever watches this video, I want her to know that the conversation she offered me today has really helped a lot. I wasn't feeling yay, and she talked to me about some things that really gave me some perspective as to how to move forward and what the next step should be for me. Sometimes the people that will approach you and talk to you, you never know what knowledge that they have, and their willingness to share that knowledge with you is amazing. So I thank her very much, and if she ever watches this video, and she's wondering who I'm talking about, B39 bus stop, right in front of the subways. That's where we met. And I thank her so much. I mentioned in a previous video that I do have issues with depression, so some days are better than others, and there's these little triggers, I like to call them, where you never know how it's going to affect your mood. I'm not depressed right now. I don't feel depressed right now, but it's just tough. And I think for anyone out there who's going through this process like myself, who's applying for jobs endlessly, and you get that one interview maybe in every 2 or 3 months, if that, or you're that aspiring, whatever it is that you're pursuing, or an experienced person in the field that you love and you have passion for it, and you putting yourself out there to let this world know, hey, I can do this job, or you need to pay attention to what I can bring to the table, and you just kind of feel like you're going around and around and around. I'm not here for a pity party, and I'm not looking for one. It's just being realistic. And I have had too many people come at me and say, oh, you're just making excuses, or it's not as difficult as you're making it seem, but it is. I have no reason to come on here and put myself out here to lie. So however you take what I say is how you take it. I can't worry about that right now. I know the kind of life I want to live. I know where I would like to be, and I'm having a hard time getting there. It's hard and it's tough. That's all I can say. So that's the story. Thank you again for watching. If you have any encouraging words for me, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. I would greatly appreciate it. That's it. Until the next time.